So what is Industry Security Notice 2023/09? Is it of interest to you? If you're a defence contractor or a supplier, partner, or somebody building capabilities for the MOD, then this is relevant to you. Industry security notices tell partner organisations how to do their security. Now, 2023/09 is the one that implemented Secure by Design and mandated this for new projects. And within about 3 years, all projects within MOD will be doing Secure by Design. But what's meant by Secure by Design, and how do you go about doing it? Well, in answer to the first question, what's meant by Secure Design, the Industry Security Notice defines this for you. It sets out a number of principles that projects need to comply to. First, and possibly most important of these, is understanding and defining the context. Now, what's meant by understanding the context? Well, it's not just saying, oh yes, of course I understand what I'm doing. We know that most projects do know what they're doing. It's have they fully documented and understood and made sure that there's a consensus around that. The next principle is plan the security activities. Has security been planned throughout life, not just as a project getting started, but also right the way through to disposal, which may be in 30 years' time? The third principle is implementing continual risk management. Now, this is the one that possibly causes the most amount of confusion, because quite often projects, particularly in defence, we've been doing risk management for decades, this is nothing new. Actually, it's very new, because implementing formal risk management, or as is meant by Secure by Design, is about having actionable risks that are not technical risks, but risks that can relate to the business activities or the thing that the capability is being funded, the purpose of that capability. Now, this is best supported by a formal framework. You can make up your own framework. There are many out there, but the recommended one by MOD is to use NIST 837 Revision 2. Revision 2 is important because that includes the prepare step, which links you back to understanding the context, and the continual risk management sets you up on a framework for doing this through life. Now, actually, if I was writing this industry security notice, I would have probably stopped there, because if you do proper continuous risk management, you will do the next principles of Secure by Design as a function of doing those. So these include defining security controls. Well, the big mistake we see with people defining security controls is they define the controls without first having worked out why they should be doing those controls. And the result of this is often a lot of wasted money, bureaucracy, and quite often paper-based controls that don't have any reality to making the secure system more secure. Principle 5 is engage and manage the supply chain. Again, if you're doing risk management well, that will already have been identified as risk. And actually there's great frameworks for doing that too, also supported by NIST. Principle 6 is assure, verify and test. Now, what do we mean by this? Well, it means things like making sure that the controls you put in place are actually related to genuine security, and it's not just, as I said, a paper exercise. It also means testing the right things. So as a saying in cybersecurity that you can't hack yourself secure. And that means a pen test is not simply the way to make sure that you're secure. As quite a lot of defence projects I've seen have made this mistake. Oh, I've done a pen test, I'm okay. No, you're not. A pen test is still an important thing to do. It's a good test, but it must be done in the context of what you're trying to do and to support basic security steps, not as an alternative. And finally, do this through life, or enable through life management, as the industry standard notice puts it. Now, this 7th principle is really, again, just a repeat of implementing continuous risk management, item 3 on the list. If you're doing continuous risk management, you're enabling through life management. Now, what do we mean by through life management? We mean right from the outset of the project, rightly even before it's funded, when it might just be one person with a great idea, through the development phase, in service, and all the way through to destruction. And again, that might take several decades, but risks that are operational risks are development risks and vice versa. And the old distinction between a project risk is simply a risk to get it to a stage when the customer's ready to take it over, and somebody else is responsible for risks, that concept is going. Risks are through life. So there's a risk of it being abused in an operational scenario. That is a delivery risk as well as an operational risk. Now, the important thing about industry security notices is they become mandatory, but also give you a clue as to what the MOD wants to do. So the MOD's industry security notice tells you what they want you to achieve. What they don't tell you is the how. And this is why, if you need help, we have something called the Cyber Design Accelerator, which will help you implement those policies. And as I've already talked about, the 7 principles that you're doing really collapse down to just 2 principles. And that, in the start, makes it much easier. And then you can actually arrive at demonstrating your secure by design much more easily. If you'd like to know more, please get in touch. Thank you.